Unfiltered Podcast on a cold, chilly Wednesday afternoon here in South Florida. How you guys doing here? How you guys doing? First show done here in my office in quite a while. Been doing the car the last 2 weeks. Take advantage of the little gift I got from my wife to put the little thing on my windshield. But kind of miss doing the show in here. Number one, I able to get access to my notepad and things I want to talk about here on the show. For example, today, number one, if you hear my cat in the background meowing, ignore that. You know, she's being a pain in the ass. First things first, we're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard, the possibility of the Clippers getting Kawhi and Kevin Durant next summer. Number two, my playoff locks. We're now 3 weeks away from the playoffs, and things are heating up in the NFL. Number three, the great one, Greg Popovich passes my man Pat Riley for fourth all-time in all-time wins. I want to talk about Pop and his legacy and why he's still, despite winning 5 titles in San Antonio, he's still undervalued as a head coach in San Antonio. And I got some opinions on the video I saw last week. I had a chance to talk about this on this platform because I wanted to wait till the perfect time to do it, and I think now is the perfect time to do it. But an Ohio dad who made his daughter walk 5 miles to school because she was got in trouble, suspended from the bus for bullying students on the bus twice. And she made her walk 5 miles to school. So I wanted you guys' opinion, or give my opinion really, on what my thoughts on that. All right. So the big news here is Brian Windhorst, ESPN, wrote a nice article on the .com, and it was about the Clippers clearing room and preparing for next year for the possibility of trying to sign 2 max players. The 2 players that they are targeting, of course, Kawhi Leonard, number one. That's no secret, because Kawhi Leonard, the Kawhi LA stuff has been in the air for the last 9 months now anyway. LA Lakers or Clippers, doesn't matter, because that's where he's from. But the other piece is also the Kevin Durant. And, of course, Kevin Durant, he cannot out his contract in Golden State sorry, here you go. I'm sorry, come here. My cat can't stop meowing. Let me do a show today. I don't know. Kevin Durant out his contract in Golden State at the end of this year. He's been signing 1-1 till every year he's been there. And of course, so the Clippers are doing their due diligence. You have Lawrence Frank, the GM, or not GM. What's Lawrence Frank's role now in the Clippers? I think he's a scouting personnel, whatever he is, but he's part of the front office. He's been scouting Kawhi Leonard. He's been sort of like stalking Kawhi Leonard at Raptors games across the country. Basically, this article's focused on the fact that Clippers are positioning themselves to land 2 whales, Durant and Kawhi. And I gotta tell you, I'm friends with all Laker fans here, and they say it's no big deal, whatever. The Clippers ain't gonna do nothing to the Clippers. Let me tell y'all something real quick. These ain't the same Clippers, all right? These ain't your granddaddy's Clippers, okay? I'm not saying the Clippers are going to take over L.A. It is a Laker town. I go to L.A. every couple of years. I have a lot of family there, so I know the pulse of L.A. to some degree. I'm not saying I'm an expert in Los Angeles, but L.A., is a Laker town, but at the same time, I'm not knocking the Lakers there. But to sit here and say the Clippers are not a team to be, to fear, in the next couple of years, I would say it's asinine, and that's with having LeBron James, for the record. The Clippers, for the first time ever, okay, I've been an NBA fan 30 years now. For the first time ever, they're stable. They're done with the rate. They long past the racist asshole owner and Donald Sterling. You got Steve Ballmer, who has money flowing from his ears. He's actually has more capital than the Buss family. Okay, so he has money to spend. Okay. They've gotten Jerry West now. Jerry West is part of this organization now. They smartly, especially in hindsight, you see the way they're playing now, they smartly, in hindsight, trade away Chris Paul, trade away Blake Griffin, let DeAndre Jordan walk. Okay? That didn't work. It was a couple years, a lot of people was good a couple years. It didn't work. It resulted in no conference championship appearances, no finals, obviously. The Clippers right now, and I'm not going to say they're not going to get they are going to get Kawhi or KD. I'm not even predicting that. What I'm saying to you is this: is that the LA Clippers right now, for the first time ever, are stable and are in position to get these 2 guys if the dominoes do fall in place. It is not far-fetched now. Okay, these are not the same old Clippers. Okay, I think it's a possibility that Kawhi Leonard will, if he does leave Toronto, which to be honest with you, even though I'm a Miami Heat fan, I should want him to lead the conference, But for the sake of the NBA, I hope he stays in Toronto because it's good for the league. He has some talent in the Eastern Conference, a little balance of power there. But if he were to leave Toronto next year, when he's a free agent, and turn on the 5-year max if they choose to offer to Kawhi, I think the Clippers are the number one destination for Kawhi Leonard. Okay, I don't think he wants to play LeBron and the Lakers. I think Kawhi is his own man. I think Kawhi will go there. Now, the big key here is obviously going to be Kevin Durant and what he does, because obviously there's so much speculation about Kevin Durant. You saw his comments last week he made about LeBron and about the fact that players don't want to play with LeBron because of the fact that not so much LeBron, but more so the media, the scrutiny that goes with it. And Kevin Durant, he says a lot of dumb shit at times. But what he said last week about the fact that players don't want to play with LeBron because of the scrutiny, that is factual. And the reason I know that is because living in this market, and LeBron being here in South Florida for 4 years, we saw that with Chris Paul. We saw with Chris Bosh and other players that got blamed for anything. LeBron got a lot of passes because of who he is. So there is a lot of truth to what Kevin Durant said. Kevin Durant says a lot of dumb shit, but what he said there was definitely accurate. So he was definitely on the ball there. Now the question is, this is what I go back to all the time with Kevin Durant. Why would you want to leave the Warriors? You've been there 2.5 years now. Okay, you won 2 titles. You got everything you asked for to go to Golden State. You've gotten 2 titles, 2 Finals MVPs. Steph Curry essentially did the same thing Dwayne Wade did. Gave you the franchise. Okay, you're the best player on the team. So why would you leave Golden State? That's the one thing I go back to. And maybe this is legacy play. Maybe he said what he said last week because he wants to poison the well a little bit to assure that if Durant does leave and goes to, say, I don't know, the Clippers or the Knicks, whatever he wants to go to, that he makes sure no other potential stars, second-tier stars, go to LA, so it'd be, he can probably get them. I don't know. But, it's just one of those things where I just don't understand, why would Durant want to leave Golden State anyway? But, again, everything, the NBA is a soap opera. It's a big-time soap opera. I have a hard time, unless the Warriors don't win a title this year, which I can't see not happening, I have a hard time seeing Durant leave Golden State anyway. So my money's on Golden State, Durant staying with Golden State at least another year, at least to get to the new arena. Then we'll see where it goes from there. And he's not unhappy he's not unhappy either in Golden State. So that's not to say that. I mean, I think people took the Draymond stuff a little too harsh. That being said, I think the Clippers are still a player to get 2 maxes. Look, if Kawhi leaves Toronto, he will go to Toronto. I think he will go to LA. But we'll see what happens there. So, but I see Laker fans, some of my friends, Laker fans, say, no big deal. The Clippers are a joke. No, they're not. They're not a joke. The stuff has a lot of legs to it. So this is that. Okay, so we'll get to that later on. We have the entire winter and the spring to discuss all that. So, but it's a nice little piece that Windhorse wrote on ESPN.com. Check it out if you get a chance. All right, NFL locks. My NFL locks right now to the playoff locks. I do this on the show with Kyle Kyle Nash on my Earth Week podcast every Monday or Tuesday when we do the podcast. Teams that are locked into the playoffs, whether they get the wild card or division record, whatever they mean. And I locked yesterday on the show. I locked in 6 teams in the NFC. I even locked in the Vikings, despite the fact that they have slipped the last couple weeks. I think the Vikings still make the playoffs. I locked in obviously the Rams, the Saints, obviously the locks. They're going to get bye weeks, of course. Dallas Cowboys are locked now because they're going to win the NFC East. By virtue of beating the Eagles this past Sunday. The Eagles are done. Carson Wentz may be out for the year now, especially. The Bears are locked to win the North pretty much for me. So that's just that. I locked in Seattle this week. Seattle is now separating themselves from the rest of the pack into the wild cards. And despite the Vikings playing bad and playing horrible the last couple weeks, I still have the Vikings as a lock. Because you look at the NFC, below the Vikings, Panthers, fading. Redskins are done, decimated. Eagles, Carson Wentz not playing this week, probably for the year. To be honest with you, the only team that's actually surging on the bottom of the NFC wildcard race is the Giants. And they're like three games behind. The way in hell they're going to catch up to make up ground in 3 weeks. No way in hell. So, to me, the Vikings, as long as they don't fall apart, the only team I think you want to keep an eye on in the next 2 weeks is the Packers. And Green Bay goes to Chicago. I picked on my pick show, which you'll see tomorrow, drop tomorrow on the podcast. I actually picked Green Bay +6 on the game. Because I think you can see a letdown coming against Chicago. Now, I'm not saying Chicago's not going to win the game, but I think with McCarthy gone, that distraction behind him, I think Aaron Rodgers, division rivalry, all that, he always gets the Bears fits. Now, granted, the Bears are a lot better than they have been in many years, but I can see Green Bay keeping the game close. So, but if Green Bay wins against Chicago this week, all of a sudden it gets interesting because right now the only game behind the wild card. And so it really is a two-team race for the last wildcard spot, Minnesota and Green Bay, and that's it. I mean, like I said, the Panthers ruined it, and the Redskins and the Eagles, no. They're done. They're going to lose this week to who they play this week, and that's it. So that's just that. So AFC locks at me, of course. I've had the same 5 teams the last 5 weeks now: Patriots, Chiefs, Texans, and Chargers. Now the Steelers is interesting. The Steelers are interesting because of the fact of this: they're fading now, but I still think they'll figure it out. I still think either the Ravens or the Browns will fumble themselves. I think the Steelers have a good chance to win this game this week, which despite everybody saying. I think the game the Steelers need to fear is next week against New Orleans, not this week against New England. So I got the Steelers a lock. Still, for now. Now, if they lose to New England this week, and things play out where, let's say, Baltimore wins this week, and even Cleveland wins in Denver this week, then we got an issue. Then I have to unlock Steelers. But for now, that's my lock for this week for the NFL. Tomorrow, when we do the show tomorrow, I'll have my pick for tomorrow night's game between the Chiefs and the Chargers. Huge game. And that is a huge game for the division, but also, potentially, if the Chargers win this week, and they can win out, and don't forget, KC also goes to Seattle next week. The Chargers not only win division, they may win number 1 seed in the AFC. So it's a lot on playing. That's gonna be playing out this week on Thursday. Chargers Chiefs. A lot of possibilities in this game. That's why this is a huge game, because if the Chargers win this game, they may be in position to win the number 1 seed in the AFC. And then, I mean, who'd have thought that little soccer stadium they play at, whatever the name is, will be hosting the number 1 seed in the AFC. Who would have thought that? So I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting week of football. All right. Last night, Greg Popovich, Spurs coach, moved past Pat Riley to become the fourth coach in all-time wins. And Pop's great. Pop's the man. Pop, to me, I've been saying for years, might be the greatest coach of all time because of the fact that the era he's doing it in, because of the fact that the players he had, stretching and doing what he's done. Sometimes the devil's in the details. We all look at championships as the be-all, end-all when it comes to, we love Phil Jackson because he has 11 rings. But go through the context. There's a lot more context in there. Okay? The reason I've been saying for years that Greg Popovich is the greatest coach of all time is this. He took that core of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and somehow made that core relevant for a longer stretch than it needed to be. Any other coach, I don't think, does that. Any other coach probably goes past that and gets another other players. The fact he was able to change his schemes through the 20 years he's been in San Antonio, the fact he's been able to stay relevant through 20 years, and it's not just the fact that he won 5 titles. It's the fact that he's made the playoffs every single year against big dynasties, against Lakers, Kobe and Shaq, bailing that out every year. Okay, and even a lot of great teams that's come and gone in those 20 years. A lot of great eras come and gone, a lot of players come and gone, and yet he's still relevant in a way where he's still dominant. Now this year, obviously, a tough year because no Kawhi, they're rebuilding with Aldridge and LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan, but I still think San Antonio will sneak in the playoffs this year. It sounds weird to say that. I think Pop will find a way to get that team in the playoffs this year. I mean, and to me that'll be a credit to his greatness. So I've always thought Popovich is better than Phil Jackson for that reason, because he's done more or less. Like Phil Jackson's biggest thing was this: he was able to take elite talent and somehow make it work. Taking the Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Rodmans of the world, the Pippins. Make it work. Somehow get them to play within each other. His success is more so in taking big egos and be able to make it work together. But in the case of Greg Popovich, he's been able to actually X and O's make things work on the fly. Change his team up from a defensive team to a 3-point shooting team to this and that. And I mean, the guy's incredible. I think he's probably the greatest coach in NBA history. He is Belichickian in every sense of the word in terms of relevancy. And look, if he takes this Spurs team to the playoffs with how good the West is this year, and in the injuries and all that, will only drive that point home. The fact that Greg Popovich is still the best coach of all time. Period. All right. Last thing before I go. There was a video that came out yesterday on social media. I'm sure some of you guys already saw that, I'm sure. But there was a video that came out, and it was an Ohio dad who was, I guess, making his 10-year-old daughter walk to school. And the reason he was making his daughter walk to school is this. Apparently, she was suspended for getting kicked off the bus for bullying kids, and she did this twice, not once but twice. And so the dad wanted to make an example of her and made her walk to school. Obviously, he followed her and filmed and all that, but he followed her to school to teach a lesson. And there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not he did the right thing or the wrong thing. It was too much or not. I even commented saying that maybe a bit much. But when I said it was a bit much, it has nothing to do with the punishment. I do it more so with the filming part. But I guess sometimes you create, dialogue that way by presenting dialogue. And people were saying, well, he did it wrong. Well, that's abuse in itself. That's not abuse. Making a kid walk to school 5 miles. I used to walk to school. Dude, I'm only 38 years old. I used to walk to school every day, 2 miles to school. I mean, and this is in 1992, 91, and I was 12, 13 years old. Okay, I used to walk to school every day without no questions asked. I had a bus take me home to school all the time. There were times I had to walk to school, and that's every day. And to me, people saying, "Oh, well, he's embarrassing her now on social media." I disagree with that. Number one, you don't see her face. You see the dad driving. She's driving, and the daughter's in front of her car, and you don't see her face. You see just her walking towards, where she's going when she's going to school. So to me, people are making a bigger deal than it needs to be in terms of, that's abuse. That's not abuse. That's privilege. Being able to drive to school is privilege. You know what I mean? People need to get their head out of their asses and realize that there's a difference between privilege and other things. Okay, taking a bus to school is a privilege. Okay, she doesn't have to take a bus to school. She can walk or other options out there. Okay, so I'm passionate with this kind of stuff because as a parent myself too, especially on the subject of bullying, especially, that is unacceptable. And to me, I thought that did the right thing. It creates character. She's going to learn from this. She's probably going to never do it again. And not to mention too, it wasn't her first time doing this. This is twice. So she obviously got suspended from the bus the first time. The point didn't hit home, obviously. She did it again, bullied again, and now she's learning a lesson. So I thought the dad did the right thing here. I had no problem with that here. I mean, maybe the filming part maybe too much, but at the same time, by filming it, we realize that, people are, I guess that creates, again, dialogue and conversation, but he didn't embarrass her. Like, again, you can't see her face. You can't see his daughter's face at all. All you see is her back. So he did the right thing here. Support. He gets my support from me. I mean, I'm pretty old school in a lot of ways. I'm progressive in a lot of ways too, but we've lost sight of what's, privilege and everything else in the middle. I tell my 5-year-old that all the time too. You don't have to have that. You're lucky to have that. You're lucky to have that car or this one. You know what I mean? You're not entitled to that. So kudos to that dad once again in Ohio for doing what he did. I respect that. All right, that's it. Tomorrow's show will be back around the same time, probably around 2:00. Again, subscribe to all the podcasts. I have podcasts out. I have another podcast dropping tomorrow with my man Zach the Game Generate. We did our picks of the week, NFL, talked some NBA and Heisman thoughts, all that. We got content coming left and right. Again, also my YouTube page. Check it out. My YouTube page. Just type in Ernest Christian on the search engine. You'll find this show number one, well, some clips, and then the Ernest podcast as well in its entirety. So I'm done. Have a great Wednesday, you guys. Looking forward to seeing Raptors and Warriors tonight too as well. Feels like ESPN, I believe. So love you guys. Kisses. Take care, and see ya.